So, hey, this is Sorilbran from Upskilled Mamas and Media for Marketing. And you know what? Today I want to talk about something that comes up over the course of the career of every writer, and that's content rights. I am not a lawyer, so if you need to talk to a lawyer about content rights, please do that. I am not a lawyer, but I am someone who has spent her entire adult life dealing with content and intellectual property. When I was like a teenager, I was involved in the music business. My mom legit made me read every book on the music business. So I wasn't like the kid sitting in my room just playing my guitar and trying to do gigs. My mama made me do a bunch of reading. I read all of the books. I'm telling you, by the time I got to college, I was helping my professors teach the music business classes. That's how many books I read. But part of that reading had a lot to do with publishing because, when you're involved in something like the music business, intellectual property, somebody has to own that property. So today, let's talk about who owns the content that you write. Now, by default, the US government has allowed for creators like you and me. When we create things, we automatically own that piece of content until and unless we assign those rights to someone else. Usually when you are hired to buy, when somebody buys content from you, or when you're hired to write content, you're working on what's called a work for hire basis. And what that basically means is that someone is hiring you to come in and create content that you will assign the rights to them as soon as you are paid. It's not like in our industry with the need for content being so great and people always trying to generate as much content as they possibly can. It's not always talked about and written down like, hey, as soon as you write this, I own this content. But that's actually what's happening. So when you receive payment for a piece of content, you are essentially assigning the rights to that piece of content to someone else. Now that's for article writing. And it works for article writing because usually when it comes to creating articles for a specific client or a specific blog or a website or something, usually you're not going to want to use that content again. Things are very different when it comes to something like influencer marketing or creating content for social media, because that content is made to be shared and reshared, online. It's not made to just sit on one person's feed. Like ideally you want somebody to see the content on your feed and to share it somewhere else. So content rights are different for social media, but right now I just want to talk about you as a writer. So do you own the rights to the content that you create? Yes, you do. But like I said, once you get paid for that content, you usually are assigning the rights to that content to someone else. If you are not comfortable with assigning the rights to a piece of content that you wrote to someone else, then you need to have that in writing, because it's going to be, while you do own the content, the fact that you are creating it for someone else to use as they wish provides like a little bit of a legal gray area. So if you want to retain the rights to your content, you have to create a contract that says that you will retain the right to keep republishing it or publish it, whatever the case may be. Usually you're not going to have any issues with this, but for the sake of B2B writing, they're going to want the rights to the content. They're not going to want you to have to keep that content and repost it to other people's, their competitors' websites or other people's sites, or even to your own website where you're talking about the same thing. So that's how content rights work when you are a freelance writer. Yes, you do legally own the rights to your piece of content. Industry standards will dictate that after you have written a piece of content and your client pays for it, that you are effectively assigning the rights to that content to your client. Okay, so yeah, you do own the rights. And then sometimes I would say one more thing too, because this is going to be important for your portfolio if you're first starting out. If you are just starting out, you will want to negotiate some sort of rights for you to display that content as part of your portfolio. Even if you say, and even if you say like, okay, I wrote this for so-and-so, you know, whatever brand or whatever person or whatever the case may be. When it's a ghostwriting situation where they are actually like, well, you're not getting a byline for that content, that may be a little bit more difficult to negotiate because ghostwriters are basically ghosts. You're just like, you wrote the content, but you don't exist, man. You're like out here just creating content for people and they get the credit for it. So if you're in the process of building your portfolio, that is something that you will want to have in writing with your clients, is that you can keep it as part of a portfolio, like present their content as part of a portfolio or as part of a case study. Yeah, so that's basically it. I hope this was helpful for you. Hey, if you are interested in becoming a freelance writer and you need some help to kind of get started, I would urge you to please click below, register for my free webinar. You can just register for it and watch it on demand whenever you want to. And I also have a boot camp, a B2B writing boot camp to help you get started. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about becoming a B2B, business to business freelance writer. And it's like, this is legit, dude. It's a great course. I'm telling you, it's a great course. I tried to pour everything that I've learned over the last 12 years of being a B2B writer into this course to make it easy for you. So anyway, I hope that you have a good rest of your day. Spread your wings, sis. Spread your wings.